because good listening can avoid a lot of misunderstanding, can avoid conflict and anger. The trouble is not many of us are good listeners. Usually we tend to listen to information, to facts instead of feeling. And also the studies show that on the average, people can listen for 17 seconds before they interrupt, or sometimes they even jump to conclusion. This definitely will lead to a lot of misunderstanding and unhappiness. So the better way of listening will be, we say, reflective listening. Here, we listen, we reflect back, we clarify. Then we listen, reflect back, and clarify until we understand the speaker, and also the speaker feel understood. Secondly, slow to speak. Slow to speak, we look at two areas. One is slow to start speaking, in the sense that we must get the full picture. We know the whole, understand the whole things before we start speaking. Secondly, is slow in speaking. Slow in speaking means we speak slowly, softly, and gently, not harshly, loudly, and in a rush. Just like Proverbs 15:1 say, a gentle answer turns away wrath, but the harsh words stir up anger. Now, slow to anger is the tough one. If we are really good in quick to hear and slow to speak, probably we can be slow to get angry. The trouble is that so often we find it so difficult to be quick to hear it and slow to speak, and then we get angry. And once we get angry, all the more we cannot hear, we cannot have slow to speak. So it's a vicious cycle. So actually this verse here is like a command, an instruction, like a command for us to be slow to get angry. But it is so difficult. We say that only God is able to be slow to get angry. So what can we do? I think the neuroscience of anger, it will help us. Neuroscience of anger, there are three areas that is more important. One is prefrontal cortex, then amygdala, and the brain stem. The prefrontal cortex is a wise and rational area to deal with thinking, reasoning, and decision-making and planning. It's also called control center, or policeman, or brake center. It's to help to discern right from wrong and help us not to go into inappropriate behavior. Secondly is amygdala. Amygdala is deeper part of the brain. This is in charge of emotional and reactive center. It's threat detection center. It's just responsible for emotional responses. And thirdly, we have the brain stem in charge of bodily functions, heart rate, breathing, etc. Under normal circumstances, prefrontal cortex is in control. Everything is well. When we have mild or moderate anger or threat, amygdala is activated. But the good thing is that the response in amygdala is not very severe. So the prefrontal cortex can still be in control. But in a stronger threat and intense anger, the response in the amygdala is too much, is too strong. And then what happens is this amygdala will overtake the prefrontal cortex. Prefrontal cortex will lose control and amygdala take over. We call this amygdala hijack. So when amygdala hijack take over, the body go into fight or flight mode, and then the hormone neurotransmitter will be released, epinephrine, norepinephrine, cortisol, and dopamine, and there will be increased heart rate and rapid and shallow breathing and sweaty palms. Emotion take over, and people just become irrational. Frightening thing is that amygdala hijack is automatic and sometimes immediate. As if we lose control, we cannot help ourselves. But there's good news. Good news is that studies show that it can be deactivated. Okay, with that understanding, we like to look at the 4 steps in dealing with our anger. First is we need to push the pause button. This is a very important step because this is when we deactivate the amygdala and reactivate the frontal cortex. It's found that when amygdala is active, our heart rate is very fast, at more than 100. And that's why we say when the heart rate is more than 100, we are irrational. So the purpose is bring down this heart rate so that to deactivate the amygdala. There are a few ways of doing it. One is counting, one is going for a long walk, and one is breathing. All they find it that deep breathing is most effective and way faster. Here there are many formulas. The popular one is 5-5-5. It means you breathe in slowly through your nose for 5 seconds, then you hold the breath for 5 seconds, then breathe out through the mouth over 5 seconds. And you repeat this until you are calmed down and your heart rate is less than 100. There are other formulas, 4-4-4, breathing 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, and breathe out 4 seconds, or 4-7-8. They are all effective. They find that this deep breathing over time somehow soothes the body and bring down the heart rate. Secondly, we need to admit and acknowledge. We need to own our anger. It is okay to feel angry. It's not sin to get angry. And no need to deny it, because denying we are angry is very energy draining. And admitting we have a problem is the first step in fixing it. It's better that we bring it up to the surface and face it positively and solve it. And third, fourthly, we need to verbalize or write it down. Always use I statement. I'm angry, I'm upset, I'm stressed. You can admit it to self, to God, to others. It's good to admit to self, to God as soon as possible. But to others, we have to be careful in the sense that we still use I statement. Make sure we do not blame, we do not accuse, we do not attack other people. Thirdly, now the amygdala is deactivated and frontal lobe is reactivated. We are rational. We can analyze the situation by asking ourselves questions. Why am I angry? Who am I angry with? With others, with self, with God? Am I responsible, or at least part of it? This is very interesting because if we are responsible for part of it and we do not know, let's say I'm angry with you, and then you say I am also to be blamed, I get double angry because now I feel that I have at fault also. So I have double anger. So it's good when we have the prefrontal cortex back in control, at least we can be rational, can analyze it. Otherwise, if we're still in the amygdala stage, we'll be irrational, we'll definitely fight back and say, I am not responsible, it's all your fault, and the fight will escalate. Is my expectation reasonable? Or I am too demanding? And is the issue that important? And sometimes we find ourselves getting angry over unimportant things, minor things. And do I have the right to be angry? Again, a very important point, because we always feel that we are right when we're angry. Like the Proverbs 21:2 say, all a man's way seems right to him, but the Lord weighs the heart. Because that means for us, even we get angry, we always feel that our anger is justifiable. But be careful, because a lot of time we do not have all the information. That's like Jonah 4:4, God asked Jonah, do you have the right to be angry? Proverbs 21:2, we just say that. We think we have the right, but actually we don't have all the information. For example, if I see a speeding car, I go very angry straight away. But if I know that there's an emergency in the car, that probably I won't be angry or less angry or even pray for the person. Or many times we are angry with people. Actually, we do not know what they have gone through. Maybe they have a hard day. So another thing is our righteous anger can lead to unrighteous acts. True, we are right to be angry, but our acts itself is not right. I think the most serious example is in Genesis 49:7, where Jacob was blessing his children before he died. And come to Simeon and Levi's turn, he said, "Cursed be their anger so fierce, and their fury so cruel." Because what happened is Simeon and Levi killed Shechem out of anger and all the male population of the tribe, and took the animal, took the women, and took the children. So no doubt his anger is righteous, but his action is not right. Now, the fourth point is action. After doing all this, what do we do? Maybe there's a place we need to apologize and forgive. Apology and forgiveness is a very, very big topic. I won't go, just suffice to say that when we apologize, be careful. We need to be sincere and we do not make excuses. And because of this, you have done this, that's why I do this. And forgiveness is one of the most difficult things to do, but we still need to do it. So we just choose to do it. And secondly, say get rid of anger. Not eradicating, more like getting rid of garbage daily. Not eradicating, because when you say eradicating, it's like we eradicate the smallpox. Get rid of the smallpox and there will be never have any more smallpox. So we can't get rid of anger once and for all and never get angry again. But it's okay if we can get rid of anger like garbage every day. Tomorrow I may get angry again, but I will get rid of it again tomorrow. Okay, this is get rid of anger. We have the verses like Colossians 3:8. But now you must rid yourself of all such things as this: anger, rage, malice, slander, and filthy languages from the lips. And also another verse is Ephesians 4:31. Get rid of all bitterness, rage, and anger, brawling and slander, along with every form of malice. Okay, the 4 points that we say we need important points for managing our anger. Now, additionally, we like to look at prevention so that maybe we can do something to avoid or reduce the chance of getting angry. I divide this into physical, emotional, and spiritual. Physically, we know that in certain conditions, we are more inclined to get angry, right? When we are hungry, H, A, when we're anxious, L, when we're lonely, and T, when we're tired. So we must be aware of all these situations and take care to avoid, and those times, especially during those times, try not to get too emotional and get into angry situation. And emotionally, it's important also. Sometimes we see people get angry easily. Maybe they have low emotional bank account. They have hurt themselves, they have anger. So important to get rid of this hurt and anger. Pastor Simeon's stone removing ministry is very good because it teaches us how to identify the hurt and anger and get rid of it. We just imagine we put it all in a bag or in a box and give it all to God. And we find it very, very useful, and it has helped a lot of people, not only in Kuching here, but actually worldwide. And thirdly, spiritually, it's important also. We must build our inner man because we know Christ in us is a hope of glory. When we know God intimately, when we know God better, and we really experience His love, His forgiveness, and His acceptance, and then we are fully contented with His love, we have peace with God, with ourselves, then only we can have peace with other people and even with the situation. When we are healthy, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, it's as if like we are strengthening our prefrontal cortex, and our amygdala will be less prone to hijack. Then we also talk about higher purpose of anger. Will be a great testimony when we can master our anger. When we are in a situation with under threat, or we are angry, and yet we can keep calm and do not lose control, do not overreact. It is a great testimony to other people also. So it is God's glory, because this verse say, Proverbs 19:11 say, a man's wisdom give him patience. It is his glory to overlook an offense. Indeed, it is a man's glory to overlook an offense, but actually it is really God's glory, because it's not us able to do it, but Christ in us helping us to do it. But this one, like any habit, we need to get practice to get better. Now, application. I feel the simple application is that when, firstly, we need to build ourselves up physically, emotionally, and spiritually, so more resilience and will not get angry easily. Secondly, when we are angry, remember amygdala hijack, and also remember to deactivate amygdala and reactivate the frontal. Let's say here, a situation like when I'm okay, you are okay. Both of us, our prefrontal cortex is in control. Everything is well and happy. Now, maybe I'm okay, but for some reason you are not okay. Maybe you are offended by what I say or what I did. So what happens is when you are not okay, the natural tendency is because of your reaction, because of your anger, I may respond with anger also. So I'm also not okay. So both amygdala is under attack. The hijacks happen in both of us. So if we do not know this, how to deal with this amygdala hijack, this thing will perpetuate and become a vicious cycle. So it's important that we need to keep our peace, keep our calm, that we are always under the prefrontal cortex control. So even though you are not okay, if I remain okay, after a while, you will be okay also. Like Romans 12:18 say, if possible, as long as it depends on you, live in peace with everyone, right? And Hebrew 12:14 also, make every effort to live with peace with everyone. So definitely, this amygdala deactivating and amygdala and reactivating frontal lobe is within our ability. Finally, we talk about parents and children relationship. A lot of time when children are angry, we can become angry also. So it's good that parents try to be calm as possible, as steady as possible. If possible, try to be okay at all times. Do not respond to anger with anger. And we need to be role models for them, that we show them how we manage our anger, and then only we teach them how to manage their anger, how to express, how to pause, how to admit, how to analyze, and how to get rid of it. Okay, in summary, anger is God-given emotion. It's universal, it's neutral. It's good to know our body response and beware of this amygdala hijack. And important to bring back frontal cortex control. Then we need to do pause, admit, and analyze, and get rid of anger. Then important to build up our inner man also, so that we can master our anger, which will be a good testimony to the glory of God. With that, I want to say thank you to all of you. Thank you.